think something that I would really want everybody to listen to. Something that I think I've also written on LinkedIn multiple times.
अभी आते हैं the one of the most talked about aspects of IIT itself, which is the placement season or
Uh,
the famous or infamous, I don't know. A lot of the outside knowledge या फिर आईटी न्यूज में तभी आता है जब प्लेसमेंट का टाइम
Correct.
होता है. पीपल गेट पैकेजेस ऑफ कोर्स श्योर,
Correct.
बट एक हाई पॉइंट को लेके दिखाना कि सब लोगों को ऐसा मिल रहा है, दैट इज अ वेरी मिसलीडिंग काइंड ऑफ थिंग दैट द मीडिया डज. बट ठीक है, हम लोगों को थोड़ा सा इनसाइडर टिप्स पता है, एंड इट्स नॉट ऑलवेज ट्रू. देयर इज अ होल स्पेक्ट्रम of people, and it's not key it's bad as well, matlab whoever is happy or whatever they're getting, it's great. But I would like to ask you of your personal experience with
Uh,
the placement season.
okay. Okay. In our case, in when I was in the final year, I think there was an aptitude test which took place, uh, which was supposed to be a practice aptitude test, but eventually I think a lot of companies took that as a proxy for and ended up deciding not to have their own test. For some reason, I think I could not do really well. I think I just did below, like just above average, I would say. So it was obviously something that because I mean it was said that we'll have individual like tests for all the companies, but eventually that was not the case. So for me, it took me the first few days to actually even get any kind of conversion, right? So and especially I think when you see all your friends going through getting good opportunities, I think right from day one. So for me, I think that was an initial setback, but again, I mean. Uh, I think for some reason I was not somebody who's like too much conscious about whether I'll get placed well, etc. or not, because somehow I think that confidence was there that like what is the worst that can happen? I'll say find something from for myself, or even if say not myself, even if I get say an opportunity here, I can always switch and like look for better opportunities. So with that kind of mindset, I think it took me the first 7 days, I guess, to get in. So I think was not really disappointed that, in that sense. But when I got an opportunity, uh, so that company was one of those rare companies which actually ended up deciding to take their own test, right? And that's when I got into it and could sail through the interviews. And the interview like story is pretty interesting, and I think something that I would really want everybody to listen to. Something that I think like also written on LinkedIn multiple times. So the role that the company came for was for the data scientist role, right? And everybody who got shortlisted had some kind of like. So obviously, the shortlisting was not based on the basis of whether you know anything about data science or not. But everybody who eventually got shortlisted, I mean, it was on a matter of coincidence that everybody had something or the other in their resume, which actually made them very suitable for the role, right? That they can, I think, could be considered for the data scientist role. In my case, honestly, I think there was nothing which can actually make me suitable for this. I think I was more looking more for management trainee, or maybe like the initial entry level roles in the company which are related to the management. Those were the kind of roles that I was looking for, honestly. So this was not something that I actually expected. But when I got into this whole process, right, there were multiple rounds, and then uh, so when I finally had the opportunity of going to the final round, instead of like just creating that facade that okay, I know a lot of stuff about data science, I could have used the jargon, I could have said a lot of things. Instead of that, I still remember, and I think then had a very good rapport with both the founders who actually came for the interview. So instead of that, I think I was just very honest about the fact that I still don't understand that why exactly am I here. I mean, the the exam part is okay, the test part is okay, but then there were multiple rounds. And I think I'm assuming by this time you must have already figured out that I'm not really somebody, because there are other people who are sitting there, I believe are more suitable for this role. So why exactly are you even giving me a chance to go to the next round? So just understand the fact that at that stage, when almost everybody is very desperate to get a job, so they would say anything to get a job, right? But on the flip side, I think eventually, I think this is something that has helped me across all situations in life, is to be just true to yourself, just to be very very honest about it. Because I think when you're honest, I think good things eventually happen to you, right? Instead of just putting a mask, putting a facade, getting something, and then even if you don't deserve it, you're still getting it. So eventually, at some point of time, you'll just get disappointed, and maybe would be even either you would move out, or even you would might be pushed to move out. So instead of creating such situations, I think it's always great to be very very honest about what you really are. So once I said this, I think they laughed for some time, and they were like, I mean, why would you do that? Why would you just say that I'm not suitable for this? So I just told them very frankly that, okay, I mean, I might have cleared the test, but I mean, there are people who know much more. So then they said that no, but I think we really like this honesty, and honestly, uh, we have never really hired somebody as a business analyst in our company without any work ex, but this is the first time we are actually going to do this, right? Because we really feel that I mean, you have a good sense of business, and we see that honesty, we see that energy in you, so we are just creating this role for you. And that was, I think, the first time they hired a, a fresher as a business analyst, right? Before that, they always used to hire somebody with 2 to 3 years of experience. And from then, I think that's when they got the clue that, okay, I mean, if you go to say good colleges, you can actually get people without experience who can actually be good business analysts, right? So I think still remember the fact. I think that whenever I go to any such conversations, I think that is something that I realize, that you don't have to leave your honesty, right? Just be very very honest about who you are. Never try to create that impression that you'll not be able to hold on to for a long period of time. So that, I think, has been the biggest learning. And in terms of, I would say the uh, why would I call that a serendipity, is because I think most of the learning that happened, so it was whatever I learned in those couple of years straight after the college, I think, in the company. Because when I joined the company, it was I think a 70, 80 member company. So it was a very very small company back then. Now it's a unicorn, and they're doing really well. Have offices across the globe. So I think what I learned in those first 2 years, and I think back then I used to meet a lot of friends of mine who eventually went to those big investment banks. Some of them went to say big tech companies. I used to talk to them, and I think out of all the people, I realized that maybe I was the happiest of the lot, and maybe I was the only person who was actually enjoying what I was doing. Because it was something, I mean, it was pure serendipity that it's only when I went there I realized that, okay, this is exactly what I'm good at. This is exactly what I like doing, right? Anything and everything related to data and technology. Uh, so I think it was just a happy accident that happened, and I ended up at a good place. Still, in touch with the whole team, that whole company. So I think really, really fond memories of that first company. So the name of the company is Quantify Analytics, and now I think back then they hired four of us from Kharagpur. But I think in the next couple of years, I think they became the biggest recruiter from Kharagpur in terms of the number of people that they took. They took almost 20, 25 people after in the next couple of years. So
Okay, you played a big hand in, creating opportunities for the next
very
generation.
correct. I mean, that's I think the role of all of us. I think whenever we go to any place, I think because we are the flag bearers of the institute, the college. I think so. All of us have that responsibility that you create better opportunities. I mean, that's what our seniors and super seniors have done for us to create that name, to create that brand value. So, I mean, always good to be a part of it and contribute as much as possible.
Yeah, honesty is paramount.
Yes,
Uh,
always.